Okay, welcome guys to the AWS series, and today we're gonna talk about Elastic Beanstalk. Elastic Beanstalk, before we dive in, it's considered a compute service. So if we went to the services, we go to compute, we're gonna find Elastic Beanstalk right over here. Yeah. The reason I wanted to give this right now is because we've already been talking about compute services and stuff that we can implement using compute services like Elastic Load Balancer and auto-scaling group. So I thought, well, Elastic Beanstalk should be right next. Of course, our table of content, this is really low, so I'm gonna try and make this a little bit up. Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna have a brief introduction, key feature and concepts, and then we're gonna see how it works, benefits, use cases, pricing, and best practices. Okay. So introduction. This is the icon for Elastic Beanstalk. It literally looks like a tree because it is made to look like a tree. So it is a platform as a service, so that's good. So if you remember, yesterday we've talked about Lambda. So Lambda also was a platform as a service uh, type of service. So it allows us to deploy, manage application without worrying about the infrastructure that run those networks, of course. And it also supports various programming networks and programming languages and frameworks. So you may think of it like containers, but it's more than just a container. So container may have or I don't want you to think that maybe because it's gonna make you lost. So this is gonna help you to deploy and manage application without worrying about the infrastructure. So it's gonna package everything up for you, and you can see here it's basically for web apps also. So let's open and take a look. So here you can see it's easy to use services for deploying and scaling web applications. And I think you can it's easy to get started. You can do a lot of stuff, and we're gonna talk about pricing. Also, this is actually the pricing part, so you're not gonna pay for it, you're just gonna pay for the services it comes with. Okay, so key features. So it's a managed platform, it's easy to deploy, and it has multiple language support. Also, it has auto scaling. Okay, so it's a managed platform. So as we said, managed, or if you remember the word serviceless, I don't think this is a serverless service. It's just you don't manage any kind of infrastructure. AWS will take care of everything, and you can only take care of the things you need. Yeah, and easy deployment. So it's very easy to deploy and manage, and it also, as we talked in the introduction, it can support a lot of programming languages and frameworks, and it automatically scales based on your needs. Okay, so features. Yeah, again, continue. Sorry, we're gonna continue. Monitoring, we can integrate it with CloudWatch, and we've talked about CloudWatch, how it gives us the ability to monitor services using metrics and alarms. And we can customize our environment based on what we need. So we can apply load balancer or configuration storage, and we can do anything we want. So it's very customizable and flexible. Let me put this down. And we can integrate it to CI/CD tools. So if you're into DevOps, you're gonna understand the continuous integration, continuous development method of pipelines and DevOps. Okay, so key concepts. We have a lot, I think. So the first thing we're gonna talk about is the architecture. So I think we have two architectures, yeah. So we're gonna talk about the environment. Let me move these, yeah. We're gonna talk about the application, and we're gonna talk about the application version, or let me put this back and put two dots here on the application. Okay. So environment, application version, and environment configurations. We can instead of saying that Elastic Beanstalk is a container, we can say it's it's more like maybe Amazon machine image, but on a very bigger scale. So, an environment is a collection of AWS resources that is running on an application version. So every time we update this version, we're gonna get, or update this application, we're gonna get a new version, as we know. So environment, as we said, it's a collection of resources, and environment configurations are the settings are used in these resources. Like an EC2 instance, for example, like an EC2 instance may have an operating system of Linux, and you may do that in Elastic Beanstalk. You're like, okay, I only want my EC2 instances to be only and just only Linux operating system. Okay, so an application is a logical collection of Elastic Beanstalk components, including environments, versions, and configurations. So basically, I don't know if it's possible to create only an application with one Elastic Beanstalk component. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know, to be honest. But I think it is, yeah, I think it's possible to build an application only with one Elastic Beanstalk component. So here we can create an application and everything else. We can put our environment information, our platform, is it custom, is it managed, application code, as you can see here. So I think you have the ability to customize anything you want. So an application version, of course, every time we update or like we're making a new updates, we're gonna have a new version of that application. And we've talked about environment configurations. These are the settings that are used to define AWS resources. Okay. I think this is wrong. I don't know why. Okay, I think we have deployment options, but I think this is wrong. It's not quite correctly. But I think this is single instance deployment and load balancer auto scaling deployment. Let me fix that. I don't know why. Let me fix that. Okay. So single instance deployment and load balanced and auto scaling deployment. So single instance, as we say, it's a single. It's used for development, testing, and small application. And load balanced and auto scaled deployment is used for bigger. As you can see, like it's gonna be the, the opposite of the first one. So for production, we've talked about development and testing environment and production environment. And this is for application that requires high availability and scalability. Honestly, like this is you can understand it. You don't have to like memorize it. Okay. So security, we have also, it supports VPC for network isolations. We're going to talk about VPC or virtual private cloud and how it helps us to isolate our network. And we've talked about IAM, which is identity and access management, which gives us the ability to create users, group policies, and roles. And policies have the ability to give us fine-grained access control. So only the permissions that this specific person needs, and that's it. And we can configure security groups and instance profiles. We've talked about security groups and how they are stateful, like the hotel doorman. Yeah. Okay, so how does Elastic Beanstalk works? I think we have 4 steps. So the first one we need is to upload our code. I think this it gives you the ability to have a sample code. So that's good because I don't think we have any kind of code for an application. So either you upload it in a zip file or a WAR file. And then Elastic Beanstalk provision resources. So it's gonna give you the necessary application or resources to run your application. So let's say I have an application or what's called the basic 3-tier architecture, which is a server or an EC2. Okay, I think I have an EC2 right here. So EC2, and I want RDS and maybe a load balancer, let's say. So we have a basic, yeah, I think my voice, let me check my voice. Yeah, it's good. I think my voice is I don't think I can hear you guys either, so let me.
صوتك واضح مايا، صوتك واضح.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. It started like started go having its own mind for some reason. Okay, so as we said, we have like the three-tier architecture that we've always been talking about. So a basic EC2 instance, a load balancer, and a database. Okay. So let's say I have some type of code that will give us this, that will build us a load balancer, and it will give us an instance, and then will give us a database. So let me I think ChatGPT. Let me ask ChatGPT if he can do that. So let's go to ChatGPT and tell him give me an example code to deploy in sharing this. Oh, sorry. Sorry. Okay, let me share my window and I'll share this again. So as I said, we have a load balancer, an instance, and a database. And I wrote a code that says that I need this three-tier architecture. So I need a load balancer, I need a server or a web server, and then I need a database. So I'm gonna go to ChatGPT. I'm gonna ask him for example code to deploy a three-tier architecture. Sorry, architecture on Elastic Beanstalk. So let's see what's gonna give us. It's just an example code. Okay, as you can see here, you only deploy the code you want, so you can use it more than once. And here you can see that app.js or JavaScript maybe. So this is a connection. I know this because I didn't write it in JavaScript. I wrote it in PHP, and it's I think the same. So yeah, here you can see you can upload these kind of YAML codes or a JavaScript code or JSON code or like a lot of stuff, and you just in a click you can deploy your own application just using code. So maybe infrastructure is cool, I guess. And you can have your application deployed on provisioned resources, and Elastic Beanstalk gives you the ability to monitor the health of your applications. So a quick recap of what we have said, that literally Elastic Beanstalk, if you give it the structure and the code to deploy any kind of application you want. It's gonna do that for you. Okay, so why do we need Elastic Beanstalk? We have like 4 benefits. First thing, it's cost effective. Of course, Elastic Beanstalk doesn't require any kind of cost, so it's free of charge. You only pay for the resources that you use. And simplicity, it's a simple process. Literally, you only just deploy your code and it's gonna give you the resources you need. So the service itself, it's gonna give you the resources you need. It's not you just think of it in that way. Maybe like draw it or something like this. Also, it's scalable, so you can maybe in one click deploy like 3 applications in the same, let's say, stack or component. And it's flexible. As long as it's code like this, you can like change a lot of stuff in it. Okay. Use cases. So why do we need, or what type of use cases can we use Elastic Beanstalk? Of course, we've talked about web application and APIs, or application programming interface. Guys, I'm gonna send you a meme about APIs on the Slack channel. Microservice architecture, we've talked about it like really briefly. I'm gonna talk about it again. And in-depth in SQS and SNS architecture. So let's say that application A depends on application B in sending messages. And if application B fails, A is going to keep on sending messages until A fails. So this is called a monolithic architecture, and this is not the best way to design an application. So the best way to do the same application but make it decoupled or microservices is to put what's called a broker or something in between, or a queue that A is gonna send messages to this broker and this broker is gonna send it to B. So let's say if B fails, A is gonna keep on sending to that queue and it's gonna save it in that queue. And A is not gonna fail like B did. So this is called a decoupled architecture, or decoupling the services or the system. And this is a much better way of using a software system. So CI/CD, or continuous integration and delivery pipelines, DevOps, and dev test environments. Okay, so pricing, we've talked about that there's no additional charge. You only pay for the underlying AWS resources used. Let's go quickly for the best practices. So we have version control. You can literally, because we've talked about the components, one of the components are application versions. So here you can manage application versions and rollback. So actually, I'm going to show this right here. So let's say I have been editing a lot of stuff in my slides. So if I see, like here, you can see that the last edit was 3 minutes ago. So Elastic Beanstalk gives us the ability to do the same. So here we can see what type of stuff I have. So all versions, and you can see that I have edited 2 times. So this is a version control system. This is also used in Git and GitHub. Environment separation, like in Docker, you can use separate environments for development, testing, and production, which is good. We need to separate our development environment on our testing environment than our production environment. So we go as dev. So we develop something or update something, then we test it. And if it's good and if it checked the test and dev procedures, it's gonna go to production, or what we call it live. So Canva right now, as I'm using it, is live. It's the production area. Also, Google Slides, the same thing. Monitoring. So again, we've talked about we can monitor the health and performance of our metrics, and cost manager. So we can use also cost manager if we open the billing. We're gonna check out that we can also have the ability to cost manage our resources. So we don't deploy more than we need. Okay, good. So this is for Elastic Beanstalk. So if we're gonna take a look at the service. You can see here we can have either a worker tier and a web server tier. So this is for web application, and this is for long running workloads. So this is the difference between these two. Even if we click, you're gonna see the difference between here. You can see modify worker or a set of networking and database and tags. So a few stuff. If we want to create an application, we can do so. So app one, environment information. So in1, environment one. And that's it. I don't think I need anything else. So it's a managed platform. So select platform. Let's go with Java because I read it Java. And you can see here that it's doing this stuff on its own. So single instance, free tier eligible. We talked about single instance. And we've talked about auto scaling and load balancer, the one with high availability. Yeah. So next, you can do a lot of stuff. So you can use a service existing role. So let's create a new one and just leave it as it is. I don't think I need a key pair, so it's gonna ask me to do a key pair. I don't need a key pair though. Okay. So next, I don't know if it's gonna make me proceed. Let's hope so. So VPC, we can choose the default VPC subnets. Let's choose ABC. Okay. So database. Even though this is not like this is not best practice, that maybe it is for cost reasons, but other than this, it's not. So you can see I can't have the ability to choose, but I can also. And I can use whatever database I need. So root volume, we're gonna, this is for EBS, so we're gonna leave it as it is. EC2 security group, we're gonna use the default. Auto scaling single instance on demand. We can use spot instances. We've talked about spot instances. They're, I think, 90% cheaper. I just need T2 micron or T3. Okay, that's fine. So sorry guys, that was my grandmother, and she was asking me to send a location for a delivery guy. I think that happens in every household. Okay, so I want a basic health reporting stuff. I don't want anything very complicated. I want something that's very easy. This is all the default, so I don't want anything that's not default. So let me put my email address. Updates and deployment, a lot of stuff. So I don't want X-ray or anything. Next. Invalid, yeah. Namespace, Elastic Beanstalk. I think I have forgot something. And I saw something that was red. I don't want to activate this one. Okay. Log streams. Yeah, I think I should have, okay, enhance, do whatever you want. So instance. Let us go with, I don't know, I'm choosing stuff. Okay, let's try now. So next. Okay, so here you can see all of the things we have done. Invalid, is it still the same? Damn it. I think it's gonna give me the same error, but let's check. It's there. Okay, it's gonna take a few moments, but this is how much easy it is to literally create an environment. So yeah, it's very easy. Say hi to her. Of course, I will. uh, okay, guys, so let me stop my recording.